If you're not putting your advent calendar chocolate on your porridge in the morning, you are doing it wrong. Today is going to be actually probably just a solid editing day. I have a lot of editing to get through. It's Monday, so the first Vlogmas is going up, which I'm a little bit not nervous about, not apprehensive about, just I have kind of butterflies. It's been a while since I've uploaded, and I'm just hoping it goes down well. I'm also hoping that the footage is good, the editing is good, the colour's good, the lighting's good, all the things that run through my mind when it comes to putting videos out. I'm quite the perfectionist, to my detriment most of the time, not most of the time, all of the time. So I get very particular about things that nobody notices and nobody cares about, and I spend hours correcting and doing extra things, basically just being my extra self when I don't need to be. So yeah, it's a big day of sitting in front of the computer, editing, and I'm not really going to have enough time or enough to do today's vlog. So I thought I would kind of just sit down and we could chat a little bit. I asked for some questions on Instagram. I mean, honestly, I haven't really caught you up on life and me and anything going on. I mean, spoiler alert, guys, there's not much to catch you up on, but I'm going to go through some of these questions and we'll see what you wanted to know. Okay, right, let me find them on here first. So many of you were just asking the simple question of, how are you, what have you been up to? So I guess I will start there. And, oh, there's a fox in my garden. No, it's just a cat. It's been a rocky year, to say the least. We thought 2020 was bad, and I mean, honestly it was. It's not going to get much worse than that, is it? All of that, I think, rolled over for me into 2021. I'm sure most of you guys have had very similar experiences. It's just been a very strange world and a strange thing to kind of get our heads around. And life has changed so much for me, so much for everyone, but for me, in my day-to-day, I've noticed so much of a difference. And I kind of started out in 2020 thinking, oh, life hasn't really changed for me at all because I'm staying at home and working from home, and this is kind of what I do day to day. You know, it doesn't make much of a difference to me on a surface level. And realistically, I think I was ignoring what was going on in here, and it took probably me getting COVID and having to have a real 360 think about the way I was living my life and the way I was taking care of myself to, I don't know, realise that it had affected me. I always want to be so open and honest with you guys, and it's kind of tricky to find the right balance between doing that, but doing it in a way that is helpful and proactive and isn't just me sitting here telling you how awful things are. You know, it's the way that we can learn, and like a teachable moment in that this is what happened to me and this is the way that I'm dealing with it, and this is how you can help yourself if you're going through it too. And really, I struggle to talk about it because I don't have that like answer. I don't have that final conclusion to wrap it up in a nice bow and basically and say, you know, this is what I learned from it and this is how everything is much better now, because it's not. It's a steady curve upwards, but it's not, you know, it's not just, there's a lot more to it. But basically this year I have been taking care of myself mentally and physically. I have put so much more emphasis on my health, down to, you know, the things that I put into my body, and then how I move it, what I do, hence me buying a Peloton in one of the lockdowns. And really I've been so super focused on my health and my fitness, really, because it really, if COVID taught me anything, it really showed me that was something I was neglecting. So I kind of properly work out now. I do a lot of spinning, and I have quite recently actually started lifting weights, which, I mean, there are so many health benefits in doing that. Too much to kind of go into, but in long-term thinking wise, it's something that is really important to me, and I want to get stronger and fitter and healthier. So that's a new hobby I've started to enjoy. I actually have, let me show you. Every year we get a new Christmas decoration for the tree. I don't think I did vlog this when we were decorating it. And the one that I got to kind of represent my year is this one here. It is ridiculous and totally kitschy and tacky, but very cute. I think it was the Gisela Graham ornament. I got it from Liberty, and it's a little dumbbell. Thought that was super appropriate to kind of sum up one of the things that has changed in my life the most. So yeah, I don't know that I'll include much of that in the vlogs because it's kind of, I don't know, it's very separate for me. It's almost become like my hobby. So whereas YouTube and blogging were my hobbies before and then it became my job, I kind of lost that, I don't know, that part of me that had this really fun hobby that was just for myself. So maybe I'll keep that kind of more personal, maybe I won't. That has been a huge, huge change in my life. And then mentally, in terms of coping and getting through this year, I really have learnt to just kind of remove myself from situations that honestly do not make me feel comfortable. That can change entirely from day to day, but I was suffering from so much stress and pressure. Pressure actually that, as you guys know, really manifested its way into my working life and just kind of prevented me from being on the internet. I lost all my confidence. I couldn't even take a photo of myself. If I go through my camera roll, there are just blank spots. There are months and months where there's no photographic evidence of me existing. You know, I'm someone who takes photos of myself for a living and all the rest that comes with that. And I just found myself in front of the camera or in front of the phone with this like paralyzing fear, just being totally unable to, I don't know, put myself out there, I guess. And it really comes down to boundaries and sharing and being comfortable with what we do and don't post basically for the world to see. And as someone who has basically lived their life on the internet for the last 10 years, I mean, it's actually a bit longer than that now. It's about 11 since I started my blog and started Instagramming and stuff like that. And bear in mind, I'm an incredibly small fish in this huge pond of online social media. But, you know, God, I just dread to think what it's like to be someone who is so much more visible than I am. I was finding myself waking up in the morning on just a completely average day and looking at my breakfast and thinking, this isn't Instagrammable enough, this isn't pretty enough. Walking through my flat and thinking, that needs to change, that won't look good in pictures. And then obviously doing that to myself and my appearance in a very, very unhealthy way. Oh God, we're always so critical of ourselves, aren't we? And we always scrutinize everything, especially to do with our bodies as women and men too, but women, I mean, I feel like it's kind of ingrained into us from the day we're born, unfortunately. But I was doing that to such an extreme level and it was not good at all. So really I took a step back from videos and from Instagram and from everything really, and documenting anything at all to do with myself, because I was just afraid. I just got really, really scared. It's a really silly thing probably to say out loud and to hear that said out loud, but you know, that was my personal struggle. That was something that I dealt with and still am a little bit really, but trying to push through it. And although maybe you won't understand it, and I don't ever expect you to, we all have our own things, and they're all just as equally important as the next. I feel as if I haven't wanted to talk about this because it feels so incredibly inconsequential, you know, in the world these days. Something most people, and I'm sure there will be some of you in the comments that just tell me to get over. It's ridiculous, you know, try having a real job, try living in the real world. And I've heard it all so many times, and I'm learning now to just separate myself from other people's opinions, and that's something that I have never been able to do. Wow, we really got in there, didn't we? Right, let's try something a little bit lighter, shall we? I've already talked for like 15 minutes, okay. What are your favourite places in London? I like this question because I feel like particularly right now, 'tis the season to be enjoying London. Everything looks so beautiful. I feel like I don't know enough of London to answer this question, but my favourite places kind of depends what mood I'm in, what I'm doing. I always find myself obviously in places like Covent Garden on Regent Street when it comes to shopping and being in the city, not only because there's so much available to you, but some of my favourite stores are there. Another Stories, Arquette, Liberty, Selfridges, everything is kind of all in one place in one spot. So if you're looking to go on a bit of a shopping spree pre-Christmas, that's the place to be. No Topshop anymore though. The big Topshop on Oxford Street was such a big part of my life growing up. I always just kind of made a beeline for it there. And the fact that when you walk up and come out of Oxford Circus Station, right in front of you and it's just not there anymore, it's so strange. So strange. It was an institution. For the weekends, I really love kind of exploring places like Hampstead, Primrose Hill, Highgate as well is very pretty and very, very cute. Some really cozy little pubs there. I would absolutely love to live in Hampstead one day, or in anywhere in those kind of 3 places. It's the dream. Probably won't happen, but let's manifest. So yeah, I love it there. Very kind of like cozy Sunday walk, Sunday brunch kind of areas. East London is probably something I know not a lot about. I kind of feel like I've explored Shoreditch and that's about it, but I do really like the vibe there. You've got to go get a bagel on Brick Lane, and then obviously walking around Spitalfields is always fun. Some good things to eat there. I actually really want to visit because I think they have a new crumble stand. I love a bit of crumble. South London, unfortunately, is somewhere that I never go, and it's somewhere that I need to explore more. Any South Londoners out there have some tips for me? Please let me know. I need to go south of the river sometime. Oh, I do like going to Borough. Borough Market is another one. Do you notice how most of these recommendations revolve around food? Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? There's a lot of questions actually about books. I don't really have time to go into that right now, but I promise you sometime during Vlogmas, I will sit down and talk to you about what I have been reading. I've read quite a few books actually this year, more so than I think I did last year. Some of them maybe a little bit embarrassing and guilty pleasure, but some of them really, really good. So I definitely will talk about that. What have you been watching? TV shows, films? Guys, I've been in such a slump of comfort shows. God, I think I've watched Friends and Frasier from start to finish maybe like 3 times this year. That's a lot of TV. I kind of just put it on in the background. It keeps me company. In terms of actual shows I recommend, I'm actually so excited to watch Succession. And I think today, or no, it was yesterday, the final episode came out. We've been saving it because we just want to binge it. We just want to watch it all in one day. And I think we can do that now. So if you haven't watched Succession, I honestly think it's one of the best things, the best TV shows. And I don't watch a lot of things that aren't, you know, happy sitcoms. But Succession, amazing, such a good show, and that theme tune just gets me every time. I also, yesterday, was it the day before, on the weekend, I watched the first 2 episodes of And Just Like That, which is the Sex and the City reboot. Again, Sex and the City, another one that I've watched cover to cover this year as one of my comfort shows. And obviously the original series I adore. I started watching it when I was way too young, but it means so much to me, and the fashion in it, like New York, the 90s, it's just everything. The vibe is on point. The new series, I mean, when we had the films, obviously things weren't the same, and then the new series, I have to say that first episode, I was so thrown. I wasn't expecting a lot, but it was almost as if someone had written fan fiction, a really terrible fan fiction of Sex and the City, and you know, it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. The ending, I'm not going to spoil anything, don't worry, but the ending, the Peloton slander, I will not take the Peloton slander. And the fact actually that they used the finale song from the original series as like the credits song in the first episode really riled me up. It riled me up because in that finale, in the original series, when that song comes on, it is like the most uplifting, incredible feeling ever. And they just smacked it on at the end as like an afterthought in the new one, and I felt like, The second episode was better. I'm gonna watch it all, of course I am, but it wasn't good. And in terms of films, I can't remember if it was last year or this year, but we saw Tenet at the cinema, and I saw recently Dune. I'll probably talk about this more when I do my book roundup, because I read Dune this year and it was probably one of the best things I've ever read. And the movie was just perfection. So yeah, I loved that so much. Loved it so much. Amazing. Goals and plans for the coming year, that's a big question. I've kind of learned not to look too far ahead in the future, mostly because it gives me intense anxiety. I find myself comparing my life to other people's lives, my goals and my achievements to others, and it's just not a healthy thing to do, really. I'd really like to get back into YouTube permanently. That's something I think has been a goal every year for the last few years. I would very much like to continue with my health and fitness journey, and I really would like to see family a lot more. I haven't seen Sam much this year at all. OG viewers will know that Sam was my assistant for a good 3 or 4 years, and during 2020 we just kind of couldn't get together, so he wasn't able to work for me in that capacity, and that door's still open, absolutely, but I mean, God, he's so busy now with his band, going on tour. He's going to be in America next year, I think, so we've kind of left a pin in that. But yeah, I miss him, so I feel like family, and my family in other places in the country as well, Joe's family, who are my family too, I miss them all so much, and I'd like to just see family on a much more regular basis for sure next year. I actually will be turning 30 next year, which I'm not paying too much attention to at the moment. I may do more so when it's fast approaching, but I've got 6 months, and you know, 30 is just another number, it's just another birthday, just because society tells us that turning 30 means you should have your life together. I'm not going to buy into that. I'm not going to even think about it. I'm not going to pay it any mind. I feel like I stay away very much from work orientated and life goals, and realistically I think what is best for me is just to stick to those goals that mean the most, you know, things that are gonna enrich my life emotionally and keep me closest to the people that I love. So those are my goals for the year, nothing too extreme. How is Joe? How is Moon? How is your family? Such a nice question, guys. You are all, I have to say actually, maybe I'll kind of end with this, but I have to say throughout all of this, being absent on YouTube, being absent on social media, I never fail to be kind of inundated when I do pop up in a pit with so many positive and kind and reassuring comments from this small selection of you that are, I want to call you my ride or dies. You're always there, and God, it means so much, you know. Sometimes I do post something and I think, God, everyone's gone now. There's no one left. And then I get proven absolutely wrong, and that there are still people there that care. And honestly, I kind of love it that way. I love that we have this very small but big-hearted community that really cares about each other, and it's just kind, wonderful, lovely people. Honestly, I'd rather have just a few select people than, you know, the whole world watching. It makes me very happy. My family is good. Joe is great. Joe, I don't know if I've talked about this. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Got a new job this year. Such a great thing for him. So proud of him and what he does, and how well he does it. He's been working from home obviously for the last couple of years. God, it sounds like such a long time when you say it like that. And God, just seeing him work and be in that mode. You know, I see boyfriend Joe, I see at home Joe. I don't get to see work Joe. And having seen him in those situations now, I have so much more, well, I already had loads, but I have so much respect for what he does as a person, and that he's so ambitious in his career. So yeah, Joe has a new job in the same field in a much better place, a much cooler place. And I'm just, you know, endlessly proud of him. And Moon is wonderful as well. Moon is 5 now, so she'll be 6 in January. January 14th is Moon's birthday, for anyone that wants to send flowers and dog treats. Just kidding. And she's good, she's happy. She spent a lot of time with me these last few years, obviously being at home with me and Joe. And I feel the both of us now have separation anxiety from each other. More so than we did to begin with, which was still quite a lot. But yes, everyone is good. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at those questions. Thank you for your questions, guys. I'm gonna have some lunch now. I think it's probably about lunchtime, and get back to editing. It's gonna be a long slog today, but I'm excited. It's my favorite part. This whole thing, my favorite part is the creative process of the editing. So off we go. Hello again from, I think, pretty much the same spot that I left you in. Or it must have been, gosh, like 6 hours ago. I haven't moved. I didn't get up. I didn't make lunch. I have just sat here and solidly edited. I only had about 2-3 small meltdowns and 1 technical issue, which I managed to resolve. But it's up. This is the point where I kind of, to be honest, shit myself, because whenever I put a video up, actually under normal circumstances, I get the fear, but this is kind of a bigger deal because I haven't uploaded for a while. But I can already see comments coming through. I can already see people saying lovely things, and yeah, I'll have a real sit down and read through those and reply to them in a little bit. But I'm starving. I'm so hungry. I really feel like, well, actually I have to go out and buy food because I haven't done a food shop. We don't have anything in the house. But I really feel like having something nice and warm and comforting. So I was thinking about making some pho, which we actually make quite a bit. It's a very simple, easy recipe, which, you know, my Vietnamese cooking is not particularly knowledge-based. So it's probably, if you're watching and you are a big pho eater, it's not good. It's not real pho, but it tastes good and it tastes warm and makes me happy. So I'm gonna go out and get the stuff that I need for that. Just pop out quickly. When I tell you the temptation to actually order pho from pho, how many times can I say pho? The temptation to order something on Deliveroo is so strong. But it's a Monday. It's a Monday night and I can't justify that. So I'm gonna make it. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna have my zen time in the kitchen and decompress from the day.